Willkommen, bienvenue, welcome once again, slightly later than normally planned, but technology well out. I don't know, can we blame that on the moon as well, Karen? I don't know. Oh, today,
Maybe.
maybe. Today, we are talking about the power of the supermoon. Supermoon. All right, but look, joking aside, we are basically mostly water, with a few electrical odds and sods, a bit of interconnecting tissue, and a bit of keratin, and that pretty much sums up the human experience. And as we all know, the moon has a very large physical gravitational pull on water. Hence why the fact that we've got what's called a supermoon, which I need a full explanation more for, please. Why it's called the supermoon, and it has an effect on us. Karen.
Okay, so a supermoon is literally becomes a supermoon because it's so close to the Earth. We can see so much of it. I can remember driving home one day and literally it felt as though the moon was, I was driving into the moon. It was so big.
I remember waking up in the morning, opening the window as normal do, and it felt like the moon was about to go land in the garden.
Yeah, well, that is a true supermoon. But we have smaller versions of the supermoon because the closer it is to Earth, the more inclined they are to say it's a supermoon.
So it's about proximity, and there are knock-on effects, aren't there? I mean, it's much brighter. There's this general feeling of spiritual whatever, but there is a physical. There's physical and emotional changes that seem to happen in us. I mean, I felt it this week. You certainly felt it this week.
Yeah, the if you consider the moon is the tidal control, so wherever the moon is, it has an impact on the tides. So it's just always there. It's always going to impact the tides of the sea. So if you consider we are, I think, about 73% water.
Yes.
If it can impact the sea, how much is it going to impact us?
Well, certainly Heather and myself have been feeling quite overly emotional and tired and drawn and feeling like just getting anything done is such an effort.
Yes. Yes.
This is in your experience as well, yes?
The moon rules my life. I cannot plan for certain things at certain times of the moon cycle because I just don't have the energy to do it. I actually did some recording on Monday and I looked at the recordings and thought, oh my God, I look so tired because the moon energy was already starting to impact my sleep. It was already impacting my energy. And certainly emotionally, I've been all over the joint. Although I've been quite solid in my grounding, I'm also aware that emotionally, I'm up and down like a yo-yo. I just don't seem to be in that stable place that I'd normally be. But that's
of course, this is the very time when you are sorting out some quite tricky familial issues, and this must make everything many times more difficult.
Well, yeah, because if you consider emotionally, we are water, so our emotions are impacted. So if you're dealing with anything that's slightly emotional, it's just going to feel even worse. But the thing about the full moon especially is it's about letting go. It's about releasing all the things that don't serve you anymore. And as I've shared already previously in interviews, I have been changing my life this year after my mother died. I'd started prior to that, but with my mother's passing, things started to really shift and change. And I'm on the final stages of the changes. I'm closing, as I like to say, I'm actually closing the book. But it has to be this time frame for some unknown reason. I believe that the cycle of the moon, the cycle of the planets and such like are actually impacting us all. Consequently, this month is very much about the biggest release that we can possibly have to be able to step into the new energy, because this is actually a moon in the Aries. Aries is the start of the calendar astrologically. I can't even say it today.
Wow. Wow. There was
So
almost teeth everywhere there. Yes,
yeah.
go on. Yeah.
We're into new beginnings. We're entering a new beginning period.
Right.
And everything that really needs to end best this period.
I need to correct you though. You are closing the book, but starting a brand new one.
Oh yeah, absolutely, definitely. No chance
I
not to.
didn't want people to start panicking.
No, absolutely.
And dare I say it, you're closing out this final chapter of this book so that it has a good ending. It's not a requited love scenario. It's not a disastrous ending. It's one that, you know, coming to a peaceful conclusion so you can start a brand new one.
Absolutely. I am seeing this as the releasing of the old for the new freedom to come in, and that's what I'm feeling. Absolute freedom to choose how I want to live and how I live my life, not just how I want to live, but how I actually live it, because living it is entirely different to how you want to live it. You can decide that you're going to do something, but actually whether it happens or not is a different matter. But the super moon is, for me especially, an opportunity to literally take the last dregs of everything that's been happening in my life up until this point and pour them away. It's a bit like that last bit of the bottle of wine that you get the dregs in. Sometimes it's like I'm just pouring those away. They're just coming out very slowly, but they're finally going, kind of feeling to it.
It's quite a thing, really, to finish off, but I suspect it's exciting because you know that once you get through this period, once you come out the other side, in the words of the 80s song, the only way is up.
Yeah, and I used to play that when I was going through my divorce.
Well, there you go. Because the thing is, it's not like you're at rock bottom. It's just that you are, and I'm not putting words in your mouth, it's just repeating back to you, reflecting to you what you've said to me. You're letting go of everything that doesn't serve you. And
that's what the moon is all about. It's surrendering. It's just replacing all that anger, that hurt, that pain, the frustration, the confusion. It's just letting it all go, because there's nowhere else but to let it go. Because if you continue to hold on to it, it's just going to keep impacting. And I'm not prepared to let my past impact my future.
No.
And that's how I help clients, is literally to find what is stopping them from having the future that they can dream of and achieve without any interference from the past.
It's interesting that we actually, Karen and I are about to embark on a new set of things. I forgive me for jumping in there and saying this, maybe it's ahead of time, but a series of audio podcasts where she's going to be interviewing people. I won't be front and center at all. I'm going to be engineering at the back end. But the important thing is they're going to be available for all to listen to while you're doing other things. So you can almost have this as a go-to to get your reassuring slice of Karen Bashford and Co. And when's the first one going out?
The first one will go out on Monday the 25th, and that date was chosen because if you add the year, the month and the date together, you get the number 8, which is the infinity symbol, which is the cycle of life. It keeps going around. So yeah, that's why it was chosen.
Monday the 25th. So, and what we're going to do is we're going to drop it in two places. One is going to be on Podbean. We're going to have a podcast site set up there, and also there's going to be a YouTube channel which won't have video. It will be audio only, but it will have sort of a lovely graphic over the top of it. And the point about this is going to be quite simply that it's going to be a place where you can listen to it and reflect. Yeah. And it's just another way that we can help people perhaps get through what has been a tumultuous year so far.
And the great thing about it is the men and women, and I'm not just allocating it to women, because men have something to contribute to us women as well. The topics are going to be across the range of life, obviously, because that's how you have to live life. You can't just compartmentalize things. So, but the topics will be things like the importance of understanding why you need to patent your business or copyright your patent your business, because people can steal your ideas, but you can't do anything about it. And that's, an aspect of life that very few of us really think about. So it's things like that. If you're in business, are you looking after your health by doing exercise? Are you somebody who doesn't like going to the gym? Is there something you can do at home that's quite easy and simple, but very, very effective? I have the Pilates Queen on. She is going to give me an interview. So it's things like that. It's photography, because a lot of women and men don't like their photo being taken. But actually, it's so empowering to work with somebody who can be with you, know you, because she's taken the time to get to know you and do photo shoot with you. You are so relaxed. You can't judge yourself because there's nothing to judge. You are confident of who you are.
I think that's critical, actually. To take a decent photo is to let go of all the preconceptions you have about the way you look and how other people receive you, and allow an expert to kind of craft it so that the very best aspects of you shine through. And yes, that's quite a process, and you do have to give a bit of trust.
But the way Susanna works is she will give you that trust. I know I'm quite photogenic. I don't have an issue with that, but I've always disliked standing in front of a camera, especially a posed camera. It's like,
I hear this a lot. I hear this a lot, both from men and women, funny enough. It's almost like the act of doing so, you end up second guessing how people will receive it.
Yeah. And she was absolutely brilliant, to the point where we realized afterwards that I was laughing so much that we had very few serious photos.
Well, but I've seen some of them, and although they're not like schoolmarmish serious, you at least look like you wanted to be there,
I loved it. I absolutely enjoyed it. 100%. Yeah, absolutely. And I had an interesting time. We rented a property out that was supposed to be really nice. Unfortunately, when we got there, we discovered it was a bit of a mess. It was like both of us diving in and sorting it out, but poor Suzanne got lost finding the location. And I knew she was going to be stressed. Well, having just been through what I had been through, not being able to get in the place, discovering it was an absolute mess and everything. So I was all over the top stressed already. And then to get a phone call saying, I can't find the place, it was like, okay, this is going to be fun. And it was like there was this shift of, well, these have happened, so now it's going to be great. So when Susanna arrived, it was literally a case of, hello, gorgeous. And it was just like, wow, where did that one come from? But she really appreciated it because it naturally made her feel relaxed. And I think I'd done it unconsciously, because having seen the state of the place and knowing she was so stressed, it was like, no, we've got to try and calm this down a bit, because it's not going to work in the same way otherwise. So yeah, it was a good start to a meeting. And I'd never actually physically met her face to face. I'd obviously been on Zoom calls with her as we were planning. I'd never actually met her face to face. And the first thing I did was, hello, gorgeous, and gave her a whacking great hug.
In truth, there's very little we can do about a supermoon, to return to the original topic. And it's here. What can we
Make the
do?
most of it.
Yes. So I was going to say, how do we do that? Because we need to come to the end of the show soon. So just to finish off, what's the best way of taking advantage of this unique situation?
Okay, well, the first thing I would say to anyone, regardless of what I'm talking about, is surrender. Hitting rock bottom on a nervous breakdown, you have nowhere else to go. I learned in the ability to just let go and surrender is powerful. It's far more powerful than we ever realize. And the one thing with the supermoon, or any moon for that matter, full moon, that you can do is surrender. And to surrender, you just forgive anything and everything that you need to forgive, because forgiveness is about you, not the other person.
So interesting. I would say, rather than just going on about a supermoon, we've actually really ended up focusing on surrender and forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Very powerful. All right. Yeah. Well, look, once again, it only remains for me to thank Karen. Every day is a learning day with Karen, and I've got she's the least school mommy person I've ever come across, and I have learned an awful lot from her, and long may that continue. A client, and dare I say it, a friend as well. And the whole experience for me has meant that I look at things in a slightly less jaundiced way than perhaps I used to before. It's been a very positive experience, and there's lots more to come. So watch out for those audio podcasts. I will promote them every so often here, quite shamelessly, because I think they're going to be a damn good listen. For you who travel in cars, for you who cycle, for you who sitting at home or doing the dishes or cleaning, or maybe on a train or traveling by some other means. Having an audio podcast can be a thing that make that journey feel like it's going in a whisker of the time, because it's something that draws you in. So I recommend everybody trying that. And on the link that I'll provide once the podcast is complete, you have a player built into it. So you click on the link, it'll give you a player so you can rewind and listen to the best bits that really strike you. And there'll be a series of posts going out on LinkedIn extolling both their virtues and taking some of the words that have been said and just drawing your attention to it. So watch out for all of that. It's an exciting time ahead. Until then, Karen, thanks a lot, as ever. Wonderful. And to the rest of you out there, keep your feet on the ground, but keep reaching for the stars and look after that mental health. I wish you all nothing but a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye now.
Bye.